Good morning once again, and welcome to your business segment of the Bomba Breakfast. Here is where we discuss issues concerning business, economy generally, money markets, capital markets, insurance, ICT, energy, manufacturing, production, all encompassing in economy. Just like we had yesterday, going into the information and communication technology and how that hub can create part of the 50 million jobs that the federal government is proposing for the next 3 years. Today, we are looking into energy. One of the problems the Nigerian economy is facing, or manufacturing is facing, is energy. Then how are we going to survive without energy? I have in the studio with me a past chairman of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Ikeja branch, Engineer Charles Akintola, for the discussion. Good morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
You're welcome, sir.
Mr. Ishmael. Thank you so much for inviting me to this program.
You're welcome, sir. Before we go into full discussion, let me just give you some of the stories that made headline in the last 24 hours. We understand that foreign investors repatriate about $5 billion in terms of dividend. That's the report is coming from the Central Bank of Nigeria, and it goes thus. Foreign firms repatriated 5.86 billion naira from the Nigerian economy between October 2022 and March 2023. The Central Bank of Nigeria disclosed about 5.13 billion naira was repatriated as dividend by foreign investors. In its economic report, first quarter 2023, the Apex Bank disclosed that higher dividend payment to non-residents further widened the deficit in its primary income account. It stated that this deficit widened to about $2.69 billion in quarter one, that's the first quarter of this year, from 2.26 billion naira in the last quarter, that's 2022. According to CBN, the primary income account covers the compensation of employees and investment income. In its quarterly statistics bulletin, volume 11, number 3, September 2022, it states the investment income component referred to accrued income on existing foreign financial assets and liability. This income may be profits, interest, dividends, and royalties received by or paid to direct and portfolio investors. It may also be interested to note that the commitment charges on loans, that's other investment charges, the dividend payment to foreign investors amount to 5.13 billion naira in 6 months under review within the last 6 months of the Nigerian economy. Foreign investors have been able to repatriate $5.13 billion out of the country. You can see how substantial the money is. If the threat of the Nigerian Labour Congress is to go by, that means the Nigerian economy might go down in the next 2 days. That's 48 hours. And the Nigerian Labour Congress are already saying that they want to give the federal government a warning strike starting from today. You and I know that one of the areas they always have their power is the banking industry. And Ms. Bife, as Bife, all of them, they've sent letters to members to join. Until when we get there, we never know whether the banking industry will join in this 2 days warning strike. And as just like the Nigerian Labour Congress has vowed to ground the economy, as it says, the stage is set for a 2-day nationwide warning strike in response to the severe economic hardship plugging the nation on the aftermath of the subsidy removal by the federal government. The move has garnered widespread support from key stakeholders, including the banking sector, civil society organizations, workers' union, as they unite to address the growing economic crisis in the country. That was what we heard from the statement signed by the Secretary General of NUBIFI, that's the National Union of Bank, Insurance, Finance, and Financial Institutions employee, Mr. Mohammed Sheikh underscored the importance of their participation in the two-day warning strike by the NSC, citing the need to draw the government attention to the desired economic situation faced by Nigerians. Now, going into our discussion this morning, global investment in renewable energy surged to 495 billion naira in 2022. How can Nigeria tap into this market as an alternative source of energy? Let's listen to this. In a remarkable development for the global energy landscape, investment in renewable energy have skyrocketed to an unprecedented level, reaching a staggering $495 billion in 2022. This represents a remarkable 17% increase from previous year, showing the tremendous growth and of the industry. According to the report by Statista, a renowned global research firm, a multitude of factors has contributed to this exponential growth in investment. Foremost among them is the unwavering policy support for renewable sources. Just like you and I know that China and US are the most investors in this area of green energy, renewable energy. And I have, like I told you, Engineer Charles Akintola to look at this issue and see how Nigeria can also tap into it. Once again, sir, good morning, sir.
Good
now,
morning.
One of the lingering problems we have in Nigeria is energy. And energy is one sector that moves the economy. Now, looking at this renewable energy, the source of renewable energy, what do you think Nigeria can do in this area, in this market?
Yeah, thank you for inviting me, and good morning, audience. I think we have a lot to do in this sector of the economy, especially to better the life of our industries, as well as our livelihood. But one of the major problems we have, which I believe we need to tackle first, is that our main source of energy cannot be renewable energy. Our major one should be the national grid. Okay. Either one is in place, then other things can follow. In advanced countries of the world, their grid is always there for them. And that is like you have your telecom. When you look at them, I think when they started, there was this price war and other products, and that is what market always does. They will give you products, maybe similar products from different organizations, manufacturing companies, and then you start saying which one is less by 1 kobo, 2 kobo. For the sake of 1 kobo, you can go miles to purchase whatever you want to.
But when you multiply that 1 kobo into millions.
Yeah, because there was a story of $1. I don't know whether you...
The $1 bill, yeah.
$1 bill, and somebody who was given $1 million, that, okay, let's continue to multiply it every day, and what it will sum up after 365 days. So you see that it's enormous. So the basic thing is that what is happening to our national grid? When that one is stable, then it will be on my own part to now say, okay, let me go use renewable. Because if you look at renewable energy, the initial cost is the main problem. I am in that field, I do some. For a 5 kilovolt, 5 kVA solar, you spend more than $1 million. The batteries,
for a start.
For a start, you always talk. It's the initial.
Yeah.
You need the battery, the panels, the cabling, and all other things that are the components. So when you look at it, how many of us can put down $1 million, all because you want light? And that light, that is dependent on many factors. Like I have one at home. I'm not fully into having it at home because of the components which I have. I found out that for 2 or 3 days now, the absorbing power of the panel is a little bit low because of the cloud. It is raining, and this rainy period. So most times before a little hour, the thing is gone. So these are limitations that are created. But nevertheless, for those who have constant power supply, it can be an alternative to them perfectly. Because that one, you've paid the initial cost, and then you start setting up the cost as time goes on. So people in that field, people are really making it for those who can afford having it. I know there is a bank, which I don't know which of the banks in Lagos. The wall of the building is all made with that panel, just to show that they want to go into it. They have light operation, they can go into it and use it. That means the investment, we need to really check what was their investment in getting it. And they must have done their studies to be able to say, okay, this is the cost we are saving. Yeah. I know of another company which, what they did is that their manufacturing section is on the normal power, while their administrative is on solar.
That's the angle I'm going to.
So that is for they need every couple, like I said, matters to the manufacturer.
Yes.
So he has to cut cost. If you can see any way he can cut cost, somebody came in there and he told them, okay, let me give you for let's give it like a trial, and if it works for you, you pay me. And I learned there are more than 20 plants in Nigeria today. Most of the plants are having that same system. And the man is like, I'm a service provider, like what the distribution companies will do to you. They are service provider. They are paying the man, and I believe he will be going home with his bank. Yeah.
Now, when you look at that model, using the administrative block for solar and using the manufacturing sector for hydro. Yeah. Now, why can't our manufacturers and you engineers collaborate and get this thing done instead of crying every day that we don't have energy, that's why we are producing, that's why the cost of production is going up, and that?
Yeah, like I told you, what that part of renewable can take, it can't take their machines.
But the hydro can take their machine.
No, it's the hydro and the gas that can take their machine. Most of them are on gas generator. Yeah. And they have diesel gas. Yes. When gas goes down, they change to diesel. So, and that is the cost they are talking about. I know, I don't know how familiar you are with your kitchen. Maybe you are the one buying the gas. If you see the way when this fuel something started, many people change to maybe the ordinary generator. As long as it's above 2 kVA, you can change to dual carburetor, which uses both gas and petrol. I will have brought one there, I just remember. You will have seen you can switch to any. But within that period, you just find that the price of gas also started going up. Then the question is, where are we? Are we really saving anything? So when you look at it, you want to save, you want to do all these things. Most of those things goes back into policies that are really affecting us. Even this renewable also. All these policies of government are also affecting them. Because most of the components are not made in Nigeria.
That's where we are going.
They are not made.
We're talking about local content, and we're talking about how can our engineers.
Thank you so much. I could remember, was it Naseni or one of these federal agencies who visited it from the Nigerian Society of Engineers. Yeah. And he told us the components they are making, they've researched into, let me say, can compare favorably with anyone made any part of the world. Yeah. But today, where are those components? I know in Sokoto State there is a research into solar. You can solar panel and I learned some of these organizations do make it. But where are they? Do we still limit it to research and not getting it into the hand of the manufacturers? If the environment is not conducive for some of us to really work in where we can add value to this nation. Those who are setting up companies are closing down. Because when you look at the whole thing, a man shared with me yesterday, you know this paper foil from
for wrapping snacks and
no, for ATM.
Okay.
This for ATM and this POS.
Yes.
He said the man couldn't come to the office in the last 2-3 months. Ask him, I said, what happened? So some guys just brought it in, and
so we cannot even produce that in Nigeria.
The man was producing that
Producing.
is a small scale industry.
Wow. Now we now
But the
have
man said importation, somebody just imported from China and he flooded the market with it at a very cheap price, cheaper price than what they were producing. And at the end of the day, what they had, what they've imported became obsolete. So at the end of the day, the man had to close shop. And he has about 4 or 5 people working with him. So if you look at, they are saying the economy is bad. The man has really gone, looking at those 5 people, you know the chain of people who are working with him. So in essence, government policies, government attitude to some of these things must be holistic. Let's look at the effect of our policies on some of this. You are talking about renewable. The batteries, maybe you have to buy the thing you buy for maybe $20. Okay, it's still $20 where they are selling. But look at Naira to that. When you multiply
20 to 90.
So at the end of the day, the cost will go higher. And the man who wants to invest in such a thing doesn't have an income greater than what he wants to invest in. So he has to, his knowledge of what understanding, you have to put it off. So government has a lot to do when it comes to this.
But last administration moved or passed a bill on local content, the executive order 0506 and all that. Now, how we now see it has been effective in terms of ensuring that local engineers have been putting.
It's easier said than done. You know, when all these policies somebody said Nigeria is one of the few countries in the world that has so much laws, but obeying those laws are the problem. And I believe some of these laws are made to circumvent what's supposed to be the original. That's my own view, because I see people are looking for shortcuts to favor them rather than favoring the professionals. And the professionals are set back, because if you need to go through due process, you ask who are the engineers who has to work, okay, what is their certification and all the rest, due process. Yeah. But now with all those orders, it says you have to boycott one. So at the end of the day, anybody can come in. And I tell people on engineering policies and activities, the bulk of most of our jobs are huge, need finance, and those who have the money dictates. So what they do in most times, in most cases, is that they procure the professionals. And when you are procured, you down to the tune of those
of the master.
Of the master. So that has been a very good thing. And I always advise our members, I said, and our colleagues, let's come together, bring your influence. Let's maybe if you can go ahead and get our own finance, and then we go in. But unfortunately, we've not been able to do that, because if you look at most of these engineering companies we have, they are being backed by their government in terms of finance, which the Nigerian government has not been able to do, and some of them who are those in the other profession who has the opportunity of seeing the document first and then inserting their own clauses that okay, it's like they come to you and they sell it to you as an employee. So those are part of the problems. Like you mentioned, the others, the others are there, but how implementable are they? If the man who wants to implement it does not have the total authority, it's like when you go to project management, there are two phases to project management. There is the European one, the American one. One will tell you you report to somebody, while the other one says you ownership, and the project manager has ownership. But in this case in Nigeria, you are the project manager. How much of ownership do you have? So if you don't have ownership of anything, that you are not an authority, you can't speak.
That's very bad. Now let's look at in the next couple of hours now, Mr. President will be landing in India. Yesterday we had a discussion on ICT, because India is the hub of ICT in the world. Now the federal government is saying that they want to look at the side of India in terms of electricity generation and getting the investors to Nigeria. And we know that China is topping the list. US followed. Where is the place of India? in this area. We have the G20 meeting opening in the next couple of days. Will you say that, what will be your take? What will you advise? How will you advise the president to table these or get to that meeting?
I saw the list of 21 big guys when the president took with him. The same thing. So, we are the professionals. Will they allow the professionals to talk? I miss them. I never saw any engineer or any top engineer. If you are talking about power, if you are talking about power, you are not taking the engineer who is in charge, who is supposed to be in charge is not there. So who will be talking? They'll be talking more of money, how much of dollars.
Without going into the integrity of it.
You know, most of the projects we have on power are white elephant projects. People go into it and they get stuck on the way. During the tenure of President Obasanjo, he did a lot to at least give us a starter. And we're supposed to have leveraged that to go in. I kept asking the question as an engineer. The key point of power supply is the transmission.
Okay.
How much of transmission how much can we absorb from the generation?
From generation.
If you can't absorb, it's like a man who has his mark, very not rich lender, and wants to carry a drum of water. He can't carry. At the end of the day, he will collapse. So that's why I think during the last regime, you had so much system collapse. Everything, the power is coming and the transmission cannot take it. It is like your fuse.
That's what we are experiencing already, because the Kanji Dam, the hydro system that we have, what they are generating, do we have the transmission to carry what we are generating?
All those ones are even smaller. The ones cumulatively. Our system cannot carry more than 5,000.
And we are talking about South Africa producing close to 55,000.
The question is, Siemens, I learned there was this Siemens agreement. If you are jettisoning Siemens again, you are going to another. How long are we going to continue moving from the house of one husband to another? We are like a bride. Siemens have given us a template. And I learned before the last administration wiped off. They said those equipment are already started arriving. So why discussing with somebody else again? Yeah. To jettison the ones you have. So our policies, I don't know, until we allow continuity in our government policies. I think this government will come give you a policy to favor him, rather than looking at holistically what will benefit the nation. If you are doing it, this government will do his own, and that government will come and jettison. That's why go to Abuja, go all around, you see abandoned projects all around, which is also the same thing. If you have a policy on renewable energy, what effort have we made to make it to continue? If you have a 25-year program, what stops us from continuing, no matter the government that comes in? Look at this rail system that he was mentioning. If all that government, successive government that came in after Alhaji Jakande and continue.
The case of that blue line and the red line we are just diverting now, it's not because the Alhaji Jakande administration then were not into it, but because of the military intervention that stopped it.
That's what I mean. Whether military or not, I knew during the military era, when I was a little bit relatively young, what I understood what was happening. There was this 5-year, 10-year, 15 years, up to 25-year development plan. Yes. The president will come on TV and will explain to us, and the Minister of Finance or whoever, or I could remember the Dr. Woman from one professor from UI. He was the minister, federal commissioner for planning in those days. He will come on TV and explain what they are. And those are part of the things that brought up the mainland bridge. These are long-term projects. We want to go renewal. What are our plans? Do we have any plan on ground? Okay, the national grid, what plan do we have for it? So until we as a country make up our mind that we want continuity in whatever program any government does, and we hold our leaders accountable to it. Yeah. Because If a leader comes and you are building a house and the man stops at first floor, you're supposed to go to 25 floors, and you know, why can't you put another floor? Let it continue, but you just jettison it, and some they will even go there and demolish it. What about the money that has been put into it? Is it not our commonwealth? So that is part of the problem we have in this nation, that we are not looking at everything holistically as the commonwealth of every one of us. The basic thing is that, do we have a voice? Our voice is not heard. Even if we shout, even if we cry, we are being tramped on the feet of our leaders. They should jettison all the policies that are supposed to affect us positively. And that is why we find ourselves in this situation where we are. We are now talking about CNG. What have we put in place before talking about CNG? The first thing is that the one that there is one in front of very close to the Mountain of Fire Church, opposite it, that Dangote trucks and others who are using. Why can't we, those who are using it, why can't we build more of those stations first? Yeah. And then start talking about conversion. Yes. While you are training people to start conversion. And so I will be attending a training. I plan attending next week on this conversion for motor vehicles. And even if you have that in your head, how do you implement it when those things to use are not there?
Now, your last statement, just give us, now that the meeting will be starting in India, the G20, yes, they've gone already. Now, what do you think Mr. President should put on the table? Just one word.
I wish them good luck. They know what they want to put on. But I believe, to me, it's a project that may not be executable. It will maybe go in the way of other projects. Because if those who are supposed to be involved are not involved, I don't know how you are going to implement. Because implementation is a problem.
Thank you very much, Engineer Charles Akintola, past chairman of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Ikede branch. He has been my guest this morning. We're talking about renewable energy in Nigeria. How can we achieve sustainable power supply for our industries, for our homes, for everything, so that the Nigerian economy will roll? I have, as usual, Kendi Adiaga, who's going to give us within 2-3 minutes the summary, just the summary of the stock market report of yesterday, just within 1 or 2 minutes. Kendi, good morning.
Good morning, Biola. How are you today?
Fine.
Well, the market yesterday was bullish with the figures that we have. Investors traded 845.68 million shares valued at 13 billion naira, exchanging 11,934 deals, largely driven by highly capitalized stocks in the market, recording high volume of transactions, coupled with the fact that corporate information that got into the market made investors to take position, some as a result of price gain, and some as a result of future investment.
Yeah, Kendi, we don't have much time. What should we be expecting today from this floor?
Of course, we should be expecting that the market will continue the run. That's the bullish run, because of those corporate information that were sent to the market. But of course, whether you like it or not, the market is a market that goes up and down. And so, whichever way it swings to, investors, all investors needed is to keep their eyes on the board and ensure that they don't take the wrong investment, because some highly capitalized stocks today may be a loser tomorrow.
Yes.
That's the much we can say about the market.
Yeah. Thank you, Kendi, for your time. Sorry we couldn't have much to that. I want to thank you very much for joining me on this segment. I still remain Abiola Ismail. Hope to see you next time. Tessie and rest will continue with the program. Thank you.
It's the Premier League all on DSTV. All the goals, all the clashes, all the moments. all of Rashford, Salah, and Saka. All in the language of your choice. All in HD. Available on all these bouquets to choose from. To watch on all these devices. Stay connected for all the action. Get DSTV with an HD decoder plus dish plus 1 month confirmed for 18,500 naira. It's the Premier League. All on DSTV.